We want to bring you an update to a story that we've been following on a Texas death row inmate convicted of killing his own daughter. The state's highest criminal court has delayed Robert Roberson's planned execution that was supposed to take place in exactly 1 week.
Roberson and his legal team filed an emergency motion and requested a new trial stemming from the 2002 death of his daughter from suspected shaken baby syndrome. As we reported Monday, the 58-year-old was sentenced to death the following year, but he has maintained he's innocent. The case is the subject of a new podcast from NBC's Lester Holt. NBC News legal analyst Misty Maris joins us now. Misty, so glad you're here. So let's talk about this new evidence. Lester was just here explaining that they had uncovered a lot in the podcast that wasn't previously known. How is that affecting the case for Roberson?
It is certainly affecting the case, and now we know that his death has stayed at this point, which will result in a new hearing where some of this evidence will be heard by the court. So first of all, criticism of shaken baby syndrome, whether or not that's reliable medical expert evidence that could be presented in court, there's a consensus now among experts that it is not, that it's inconclusive, and a jury should not have heard it. Also, that there were pre-existing medical conditions that Nikki in this case had experienced before that the jury did not hear, and also that Roberson had been diagnosed with autism, which could have spoken to some of his mannerisms. But the bombshell is that a judge that was involved in this case could have had a conflict of interest, was involved in the decision of Nikki's grandparents to take her off of life support, and they say that's judicial misconduct. So all of this is what the court will consider in whether or not he gets a new trial.
Okay. Missy, you know what concerns me is that these are just the cases that we hear about. Why are so many of these death row cases that are quite literally life or death, why do they always come down to the wire?
I know, it feels like that. But remember, when you have a death row case, there are so many appeals that have been done up through and up to that date of execution. So this has been a case where all of those appeals have been exhausted. And the reason that you see what seems like a last-minute effort is that oftentimes it comes down to what it is in this case, newly discovered evidence. That is the way to challenge the conviction and ultimately get a new trial. But oftentimes that comes later, especially when it's central to the science, which obviously has evolved significantly since 2003.
Obviously, this has become the topic of a Dateline podcast. A lot of people have had a chance to listen to this since Monday. We had the Menendez case earlier, also the subject of a lot of revived media attention. Missy, talk about the importance of having media watchdogs in cases like this.
Absolutely. It's so important because eyes are on this case doing a deep dive into what happened. And not only do you have it in the forefront Dateline podcast, that means you get advocates who are involved at the state level. There are representatives bipartisan who are advocating for Roberson and getting attention on this case, ultimately resulting in a new look.
Exactly 1 week. Misty Maris for us. Misty, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.